uh, a lot of variation in the way the form is done. That's because it goes to different areas. Before there was any sort of standard central communication, um, it evolved in different areas in different directions. So um, the routine is very flexible. So as the name indicates, we have 6 sounds. They can be done individually, as you can use one of the sounds by itself. If you have, say, a lung problem, you want to work on the lungs, you can just use the lung sound, or you can use all 6 sounds as a coherent routine. So the sounds can be done by themselves. That is, just sitting here and make the sound, or they can be combined with movements of the body. For example, the lung sound can be combined with this kind of movement of the arms. When we actually work on learning those body postures, I'll move the camera back a bit so you can see what my hands are doing. That's important for some of the sounds. The sounds can also be combined with specified positions for the lips and the tongue. For example, I might say tongue, tip of tongue, below the bottom front teeth as you make the sound. We'll add these things as we go along. In the beginning, I want to keep it simple and just work on the sounds. A particular challenge for me is adding the pitch to the sound, whereas the sound is made at a particular musical pitch. Because, you know what, I can't use this anymore, can I? Crap. That's been co-opted, so I have to figure out another gesture. Yeah, the pitch. And we do have a computer program that supposedly recreates the pitch. So we'll use that when we come to working on the exact pitch of the sound. So lip and tongue position, pitch. And then the sounds can also be incorporated into movements. By movements, I mean incorporated into other Qigong routines. For example, the 5 animal sports. We're going to be doing Tiger tomorrow morning in the 10 a.m. Qigong class. And say the 5 animal sports was invented in about 2500 BCE, before the 6 healing sounds, but later the sounds were added. So the routine and of course the 8 pieces of brocade didn't originally have the sounds used with them, but they were combined by masters later on. So sounds can be used with other Qigong routines or by themselves. Those of you that have been tuning in recently know that I discovered in research published in medical journals during the COVID crisis that the 6 healing sounds routine is used in China for prevention and relief of COVID infections and rehabilitation of people who are recovering from COVID infections, and has been shown to be effective. Okay, posture. We can do the sounds sitting down, as we're going to do in this class. They can be done standing up, or they can be done lying down. If we're sitting down, we want to be sure that we maintain an erect posture, the standard sitting posture for Qigong that you may be familiar with. So we're not going to like lean back like this. Or the feet should be flat on the floor and the knees bent at a 90-degree angle and the torso at a 90-degree angle. So we're not going to be like this. So, standing, they would be done in the Wuji posture. Now, when we do the sounds, we're going to use return to childhood breathing. We're going to breathe deeply, but not to the point where we cause tension. So as we inhale, again, we'll use about 70 to 80% of our lung capacity as a guideline when we inhale, and also as we exhale. So we won't exhale to the point where we end up gasping. If I'm making the lung sound, for example, it's long, but I'm not going to empty my lungs to the point of discomfort. Number of repetitions. So this is very flexible. So when we do the sound for health maintenance, 3 to 6 repetitions is sufficient. But if we have problems with an organ, then we increase the number of repetitions, and sources specify up to the number 36, which of course is only there because 36 is an auspicious number. So it could just as well be 40 or 34. So if I have chest congestion, or lungs feel very hot, or I've got mucus, I might do 9 to 36 repetitions of the sound for the lungs. Okay. Oops. I need to bring back my clock. There we go. So that I can keep track of the time. What we're going to do with the time distribution is divide it between instruction and meditation or practice. As we go through the class series, it's going to be less instruction because you'll have learned, hopefully, and be familiar with the instruction, and more practice. So the sounds themselves, as I said, the routine is old, and in the really old Qigong routines, you'll find that there's a good bit of variation in how they are performed, depending on which teacher you're using. But generally, and what I learned from Dr. Yang, is the sounds are as follows. The lung sound is written as SI, pronounced with very long I. Well, it can be deceiving. It's pronounced like air leaking from a balloon. So I don't know how you want to write that, but it's a long sound, spelled S-I, but you make the sound as though that's exactly the sound you would hear if you went to your car and pressed down with the valve on a tire. Don't recommend doing that. So the sounds are made subvocally, which means very, very softly, because we don't want to tense up the vocal cords and the throat. Part of the effect of the sounds will be releasing stale energy and heat from the organs via the throat. So if we tense up the throat by making the sound too loudly, it's going to block the release of the qi. So long sound. I will be making the sounds louder than they actually should be, just in order to remind you of when and how to make the sound. Kidney sound is chui, chui, written in pinyin as C-H-U-I. Pronounced, if I were to write it and try to render it in phonetic English, C-H-W-A-Y, chui, chui. It's a short sound because the kidneys are small organs only about the size of the fist. So we don't prolong the kidney sound normally when we use the kidneys, when we use it. The liver sound is written in pinyin as X-U. The X in pinyin is pronounced like SH. So the liver sound would be shoo, shoo, shoo. Like what you wear on your feet, shoe. The liver is a large organ, so we try to make that shoo as long as possible without, again, tensing up the vocal apparatus or the lungs, the breathing. The heart sound, written in pinyin as H-E and pronounced like it were H-E-H. Sounds like a dog panting. Spleen sound is written in pinyin as H-U and pronounced like the English word W-H-O, who, 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 who. And then we have the sound for triple burner. So triple burner, you may already know, is the strange concept that we get from the traditional Chinese medicine of upper burner being the upper respiratory apparatus and the lungs, middle burner being the stomach, and lower burner being the intestines. You might think of it as the whole case, the torso case, in which the organs are situated. So when we release the energy from the triple burner, we help release the energy from all the organs that are inside the triple burner. The sound is written as XI, and remember that X in pinyin is pronounced like sh, sh, so it's she, pronounced like S-H-E with a long E, she. It's a long sound because the triple burner is a big area. Now, I gave you the sounds in a particular order. They were lungs, kidneys, liver, heart, spleen, and triple burner. There is a logic to this order, and it comes from the 5 elemental phases theory. That lung metal generates kidney water. Kidney water generates liver wood. Liver wood generates heart fire. Heart fire generates earth spleen. And then, of course, you've got the whole package, the casing for all of that. So lung metal generates kidney water. Think about the fact that if you have, like you take a tumbler out of the freezer with a cold drink in it, and then you see water collecting on the outside of the cold tumbler. Okay, that's my explanation for lung metal generates kidney water. Kidney water generates liver wood. Well, water in the earth helps the growth of trees. Liver wood generates heart fire. Well, take a piece of wood and set it on fire. Okay, so wood is the fuel for fire. Heart fire generates spleen earth. Fire creates ashes, which recycle into the earth. All right, so that's the logic of the order. But as I said earlier, the sounds can be used individually. So you don't have to use all of the sounds as you're doing sounds. But if you're going to use all of the sounds, then you should do it in that particular order, indicated by the 5 elemental phases. They call that the mother cycle. That one energy is the mother of the next energy in that order. Okay. You know, we do sitting meditations sometimes in Qigong, and we sit cross-legged on the floor. That's not necessary to do that for the 6 healing sounds. So you can sit on a chair with your feet on the floor. Actually, when we start to do the meditation, I'm going to cross my legs on the seat of the chair here. But you can do the 6 healing sounds sitting on the floor with the legs crossed or the legs extended out. Of course, you will need that support under the buttocks so that you don't have that feeling that the body is tilting backward. As we move on through the series of classes, we will add some of the things I told you or in other versions of the routine. And we're going to also do a version that is quite similar to the inner smile meditation that we were doing last semester in this time slot. So those of you who've done inner smile will find that version familiar. But I want to start simple with trying to create the feeling where the sound can be felt in the organ that it belongs to. This is called the Gong Fu of internal vision, where you can sense what's happening in your body. And it may take some time to create that skill. You have to focus your mind and calm it down and focus it, and also gain a sensitivity. but with practice and patience, you'll develop it. So as we're using the sounds, we put the mind in the organ that we're working on. And we inhale, again, it's using the return to childhood breathing. And as we exhale, we make the sound, we want to feel the sound kind of vibrate in the area of the organ. And we want to, well, in the beginning, we might say we want to imagine. Later on, we'll say we want to feel energy release from the organ as we make the sound. So the idea being, again, the fundamental principle of Qigong is we create the conditions where Qi can circulate freely through the body. And we will, by doing so, avoid and relieve numerous illnesses that are caused simply because the Qi flow in the body stagnates. So we'll feel the energy release into the area surrounding the organ and also release through the throat and out the mouth. You may feel also that heat is releasing from the organ, in addition to just a feeling of the maybe electromagnetic movement of energy. You might feel the movement of heat. And by helping to break up the Qi stagnation in the organ, and as we release the energy from the organ in the surrounding tissues, break up Qi stagnation in the surrounding tissues, release the energy and the heat into the interstitial tissues and out the mouth. We help to promote the Qi circulation and cool down the organ. The probably biggest problem with the organs is that energy gets trapped and they get too young, they get too warm, too hot. So releasing heat is generally one of the things we want to accomplish through the 6 healing sounds. Any questions on that principle? Okay. So now let's practice and let's work on trying to sense the organ, trying to make the sound as the sound of no sound, that is to say subvocally, as I mentioned before, and trying to feel, or at least imagining that we feel, the sound resonating in the organ and energy releasing from the organ. I'm going to dim the lights a bit. And I like to cross my legs, so I'm going to do that, but you don't have to because it's optional. All right. So we're going to do in the order that I mentioned from the 5 elemental phases theory, beginning with the lungs. So the lung sound, remember, is like air leaking from a balloon. Okay, so before we begin with the lungs, let's just take a couple of minutes to relax body, mind, and breath as we do before we begin any Qigong routine. So your eyes can be open, shut, or half open. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Using return to childhood breathing. Gently expand the abdomen as you inhale. Gently contract it as you exhale. And if you're comfortable with adding the movement of the pelvic floor or perineum, go ahead and do that. But if you haven't gotten comfortable with that addition yet, let's leave it for simple breathing practice, because we want the mind now to be focused on the organs. So if you've achieved the regulation of no regulation with the movement of the perineum in coordination with the abdominal movements, then you don't have to suppress it. But if you haven't achieved it, just put it aside for the moment so we can concentrate your feeling in the organs. Long, slow, deep, even breaths. And we'll do 6 repetitions for each organ. And that's within the range of the maintenance regime, maintaining health. You would do more repetitions if you were working on relieving a condition in the organs. Just relaxing body, mind, and breath. And we need the body to be relaxed, because if your body is tense, it's going to inhibit the release of energy with the sound. Okay, we'll begin with the lung sound. Like air leaking from a balloon. Inhale through the nose. Deeply, but not to the point of bursting. Exhale through the mouth, making the sound sound of no sound. Inhale through the nose. Feel the air filling your lungs. Exhale through the mouth, making the sound, feeling the sound resonate in the lungs and beyond. Energy releasing from the lungs into the surrounding tissues and out through the throat and mouth. In, out, and sound. In, out, and sound. In, out, and sound. In, out, and sound. Okay, I'm going to cough, so just beware. Product of my allergy treatments, but it shows you that the sound works. So with that congestion, I should go on to do more repetitions when I practice for myself, which is what I do. Okay. Long metal generates kidney water. The kidney sound is chwe, chwe. So bring your mind into your kidneys. Breathe into your kidneys. Exhale through the mouth and make the chwe sound. Chwe. Feel the energy release from the kidneys and also out through the throat. Inhale through the nose into your kidneys. Exhale. In and out. Although the sound is very short, when you finish the sound, or you can imagine that you're still making the sound, and you may feel continuing release of energy from the organ, from the kidneys. In, out, and sound. In, out, and sound. Inhale through the nose into the kidneys. Exhale. Okay. Kidney water generates liver wood. The liver sound is shoo, shoo. So bring your mind's attention to your liver, which is over here on the right side and extending, well, here pretty much into the middle. Breathe into the liver. Feel the air filling the liver. Exhale through the mouth and make the shoo sound. Feel the sound resonate in the liver and energy release from the liver and out the throat. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Liver wood generates heart fire. The heart sound is like a dog panting, H-E, pronounced H-E-H. So bring your mind's attention to your heart. Breathe into the heart. Exhale and sound. Feel energy release. In, out. In, out. Breathe in through the nose and into the heart. Exhale through the mouth and make the sound. In, out. In, out. Now, if you will, let's do a little experiment once or twice. As you exhale and make the heart sound, extend the tip of your tongue out maybe half an inch beyond your bottom teeth as you make the sound. So in, out. In, oh, and open the mouth more widely, of course, to make room for the tongue. In, out. Make a mental note if you feel anything different. Now, heart fire generates earth, spleen, earth. Burnt wood turns to ashes, which turns to earth. Spleen sound is whoo, whoo. spleen is over here. So place your mind's attention in your spleen. Breathe into the spleen. Breathe in through the nose into the spleen. Breathe out, make the who sound. Try to feel the energy release from the spleen and out the mouth. In, out, and sound. 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 One more time. In, out, and sound. Now, another experiment. This time, as you make the who sound, open your mouth more widely. Don't tense the jaw, but open a little bit more widely. In, out, and sound. In, out, and sound. Okay. We have one more sound, and that's the triple burner sound. X-I, pronounced she, like S-H-E, she. So as we inhale, just imagine the air filling the whole triple burner area. And as we exhale and make the she sound, imagine the energy releasing out the mouth, out beyond the body. In, out, and sound. 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 And one more. In, out, and sound. And now we'll just spend a minute relaxing body, mind, and breath again. And if you feel tingling throughout your whole torso, and that's normal because we got the chi moving.